NathanIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. And far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, closed fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real, jumping like hopscotch. Nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the Brits at, Cincinnati Red Tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. My people at.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivy in the air chair. I'm live, local, and vocal, broadcasting live from a secret location here in the city of Cincinnati. And man, they're talking about if you're going out for trick and treating tonight, if you take your children out, your nieces, your grandchildren out, man, bundle up. Bundle up because they're talking about flurries and freezing warnings. Yeah, that's right. Halloween. Are you a superstitious person? Let me know. Are you the kind of person to have young people in your family that go out for trick-or-treating? Maybe just on your block, right? You got to choose certain areas. They can't go trick-or-treating everywhere in Cincinnati. You know that. All right, so coming up, here's what I have confirmed. At 9:30 a.m. this morning, I'm confirmed to speak with Michelle Dillingham, and she got some information she wants to share with us about at least one member, well, not a member, but a candidate for school board. And I got a chance to see the campaign finance reports of all the school board members and all the school board candidates who are running for re-election. It was quite interesting. I want to share with you what I saw, what I read. Very interesting. What's up? We will discuss. Well, as you can tell from today's headline, and please like and share. Take a moment to like and share today's show, please. But Candy is out. Candy is out after 10 years or 9 years as a starting quarterback for the Bengals. Andy Dalton is out. He's out. He is no longer going to be the starting quarterback. And for those who are into that kind of stuff, you may or may not be. But if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to go check out the press conference for yourself, well, not the press conference. He was actually in the locker room. They caught up with him after the big decision. And the Bengals are 0-8. I hope they go 0-77. That's me personally. And they got a young, again, I haven't watched any of the games, so I don't know who's who and what's what. I'll catch the highlights here or there. They got a new young quarterback that's going to take over. And it's only 9 years too late. As I said yesterday, Andy Dalton should never have gotten off the bench because he didn't have the eye of the tiger. But because he was white and he was good enough to get 300-yard games here or there. Cincinnati fans, they roll with it. Run around here talking about the red rifle. Where is that at now? Where's it at now? For people who care about the Bengals, or how do you, is this like a good thing? Are you looking at this like, oh yeah. So now the team's gonna be good, right? Is that how you view this? I'd like to know. 513-873-7134. Let me know. What do you think? You might not give a damn. You may not give a damn. Did you see the Trump nominee that broke down? In tears because he was unqualified. Basically, it all came out. We will discuss this morning. Again, 513-873-7134. And for Trump, today is a very interesting day. The impeachment net is closing around him. The House of Representatives is poised to cast its first vote in a bid to oust him. They're going to make it legitimate. This whole impeachment thing that some people have been trying to play down like it's no big deal. Oh, it's no big deal, Nate. It's not. We'll see. We shall see. How are you? Good morning. We shall see. My son is so happy. He's got his little costume on. These kid rituals, man, are something else. And he was so excited. You know how it is. You want to wear the costume in the car. Daddy, put the mask on before we walk into, his daycare. Because he's got to walk in as this character, right? And you know what, man? I'm telling you, kids got it so good. They really do. As adults, we could take a page from children in the terms of just like chilling, playing, enjoying yourself with small things. Man, you get this kid a Teenage Mutant Ninja costume and some juice and some crackers. Man, he good all day. So I walked in. There was little princesses. There was a little pirate, little 2-year-old pirate, eating graham crackers and milk as I walked in. That's a great thing. Spider-Man was in there playing with toys when I got in there, and I dropped off Donatello. So it was quite interesting, man. Kids are hilarious. I'm not sure where my son is doing right now, but he's got a big-ass smile on his face, whatever it is, because you know why? He got a costume on. Oh, man. Kids have it best, don't they? Absolutely. They absolutely have it best. Hey, listen, if there's anything on your radar screen that you don't hear me talking about, hit me up. One thing we must discuss is Twitter is changing its policy as it relates to political ads. You are no longer going to be able to place political ads on Twitter, meaning that you're not going to be able to promote the ad. People initially are like, well, what does this mean for the president? Well, what it means for the president is that nothing really. He's got millions upon millions upon millions of Twitter followers. He's going to be able to continue to tweet his propaganda, his lies, to use social media to go after his political opponents, or to generally miseducate and mislead the general public. He'll still be able to do all of that. He just won't be able to pay to promote political ads. That's what the big news is. So it's interesting, like Facebook, when it comes to political ads, is taking the exact opposite approach. They are taking the exact opposite approach when it comes to it, which is they're hands off completely. Like, hey, that's y'all business. Y'all figure it out. And that's it. And that's it. That's Facebook for you. But Twitter is saying that they are going to completely end it. And the reason why is fake news. That's what a lot of this is the fallout of what happened in 2016. And so now you got these Democrats that want to hold these social media, they want to hold social media, responsible. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. So they want to hold social media responsible. Like, let's make sure that don't happen again. And these social media giants are like, well, this is our business plan. This is what we do. It's not our fault because people take our product and then try to use it in a way that we didn't intend for it to be used. Okay? So who do you think has the better policy? Sorry about that. There was a moth in here. I had to get it real quick. True story. But it's like, who do you think has the better policy? Is it better for social media to say, you know what, we're going to cut out political ads altogether? So you can't put any ads up. We don't have to worry about the fake news. We don't have to worry about people trying to misdirect the black community because that's what they're going to target. They're going to target us. Or is it better to say, like Facebook, hey, we're not going to try to curtail the expression of politicals, elected officials, whatever. It's up to the public to decide what's fake news and what's not fake news. So there it is. That's the two social media giants, and they've taken two completely opposite approaches when it comes to regulating political speech. I'll reiterate again. Twitter is saying we're going to stop all paid political ads. What does that mean? That means you're running for city council in Cincinnati. You're not going to be able to say pay to get your campaign video seen by more people on Twitter. That's what it means. Now, you can tweet whatever you want to tweet within their guidelines. You just can't pay for it. On Facebook, you can pay for it. And Mark Zuckerberg testified before Congress last week, and they asked him directly. So essentially what you're saying is that if you're a political if you're a political person, a politico, or you're an elected official, you can buy ads on Facebook that will mislead people. Facebook's like, yeah. The people are smart. They can decipher for themselves. That's why I say it's going to be a war. Get ready for it. Cassandra writes, great risings. Hey, good to see you, Cassandra, as always. As always. Pat writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Pat. Tracy writes, hi. Hey, Tracy. Brenda writes, happy Thursday. Mason Marler writes, more than Nate and the Choppers. Now, listen, folks, you're going to hear more political ads on the show today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. And that's just the media biz, okay? It's election cycle. And for media companies, it's always an opportunity to work with these individuals and various groups to get the word out. It's a platform. So I want to give you a heads up. You will hear extended commercials, just so you know. Mason Marler writes, happy Halloween, Choppers. I'm dressing up like an impeachment witness. Hilarious. Hilarious. He said he's dressing up like an impeachment witness. Speaking of witnesses, did you see this white male impeccable dude's coming out, military long-term service? He was the guy who was raising some concerns about Trump's phone call when he was speaking with reps from the Ukraine. I'm not telling you I know all the details. It just looks real bad. Brian writes, morning, GSW, hashtag, or number 30, there's always next year. Oh, yeah, it's a wrap for them. Oh, you don't know? Steph Curry, broken hand. Some big mofo fell on his hand and was in a very awkward position. So CG Dub is done. Not that they really had a chance anyway. It's never a good thing to get injured, but this gives everybody excuses. This will help Steve Kerr keep his job. It'll be great for the franchise because now there's no expectations. This is what it is. Bunky writes, what's up, Nate? Tracy writes, 50 in 3 days. Is that right? Okay. Where the party at? Drop's in the house. Good to see you. Brian writes, Steph broke a bone in his hand last night. I saw it. I saw the clips of it anyway. Yeah, looked terrible. Looked terrible, but so what? I don't have no sympathy for you GSW fans because you got 3 rings and nobody's sitting around talking about like, oh, yeah, LeBron, he didn't have Kyrie Irving that first series, or Kevin Love. Nope. See, history don't go back and add little asterisks to it. Either you get the chip or you don't, period. The history books will never go back and say, well, the road to that first championships, man, they had so many opponents, starting members that were injured, which is true. So the Golden State Warriors had an easy way straight to their first victory. Then they meet LeBron, at coming down from his prime. LeBron went nuts, but He didn't have no Kyrie. He had no Kevin Love. Do GSW fans say, you know what? Let's be fair here. That first championship, LeBron didn't have, they don't say that. They say, we beat LeBron. Right? That's just the way the world works. Enough of me. I want to give you an opportunity to get into the show. We will be taking a break at the bottom of the hour just to make sure we're all tight on that. Let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. It is an honor to be the first caller on your Throwback Thursday show. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Well, thank you for letting me get in because I know you got a guest coming on. And first, I would like to say bad news for Golden State. Well, actually, bad news because their season wasn't predicted to be very well anyway. But this is going to hurt Golden State in the pocketbook, Nate, because this is the inaugural opening of their new arena in San Francisco. So that could be the downside to Steph Curry breaking his hand because there's nobody else on that roster that anyone's going to want to come and see. I mean, Draymond Green, yeah, he's a big part of that team, but nobody's going to pay $300-400 to come watch him rebound and talk shit to the referees. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's way out of my character, Mr. Ivy. But the main reason I called, sir, is yesterday you talked about the viral video that's going around about Obama talking about the cancel culture, also known as fake woke. Do you remember that from yesterday, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there was another video that was also out, and the media, the mainstream media, didn't mention that video, but social media did. And I applaud Twitter for banning all political ads because, for one, it's going to help small venues like yourself make some of that campaign money. Okay, so you go ahead and get that bag, Mr. Ivy. You run them political ads and make that money for the Nathan Ivy Show, powered by Sin Digital Media. But the other video that was also out there at the same time as this Barack Obama fake woke video, there's a video of Michelle Obama, the first black first lady. Did you see that video, Mr. Ivy?
I did not. What did I miss?
Oh, sir, it is on. I think it is on my timeline right now. It's on Twitter. Just look for it on the cover of the video. You'll see like a blue image, but it's the video. I've been posting it this morning before your show started because I wanted to talk about it. And Nate, this video is troubling. Okay. And thank God for Twitter because without Twitter, that video probably would have never gotten out, okay? Because it does not look good as far as this current climate and the political environment with the Democrats trying to get a candidate to go up against Donald Trump. And what's happening with Kamala Harris and her campaign, you'll probably talk about that at a later date.
Yeah,
but
cutting off staff. She's laying off staff, and she's hemorrhaging money. And they're pulling out of certain spots around the country and trying to focus on where they think they need to. So it's not looking good for Kamala. I know you're happy.
No, Nate, I'm not happy. Like I told you from the beginning, she was not ready for 2020 because it's an incumbent. But see, that's a whole nother phone call. Okay, I predicted this from the very beginning, Nate, about the whole black vote and her and Cory Booker being team light skin 2020. All my stuff is chronicled on my Twitter feed, Nate. You know it. You see it sometimes, but you know it. It's out there. So all I'm saying, Nate, find that clip of this video of Michelle, because I'm not going to say what she said because I want you to put it out there.
Tell me what she said. Tell me what she said. You brought it up.
No, Nate, the show is early, okay? When I get off the phone, I'll go back and post it on your Twitter feed so you'll have it, okay? You won't have to look for it.
I'm looking
Huh?
up. I'm looking up Michelle Obama right now. What am I missing? Oh, beautiful, by the way. Damn, I wish she was still the first lady. Don't you?
Yeah. Oh man, Nate.
Don't you?
I ain't taking Nate. I ain't taking nothing from them being a black family and what they did for the image of the black family in America.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the first
Oh,
positive thing I've ever heard you say. That's
but
great,
Nate,
man.
you've never asked me anything along those lines
Okay.
as far as
Maybe.
because I'm strictly politics. Okay, from a political standpoint, he was bad for America, but that's another conversation.
I don't know if that's true.
But,
So he was
okay,
bad for
but
America and Trump is good for America. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I'm talking about Democrat and Republican policies. I already told you about false idols, Mr.
I'm just
Ivy.
asking you. You telling me that administration to administration, the Trump administration has been better than the Obama administration. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, because of
Okay.
the things that Obama had started as far as the economy, okay? In the last half of his administration, the economy was really starting to turn. But the consumer confidence was not there because of his other liberal Democrat policies, okay? So all I'm saying, Nate, in this country of America, it's always about the money. And until people understand that concept, you're going to have people arguing over stuff that has nothing to do with their economic success. Because when you have money, life is easier in America. I don't care what color your skin is. It just makes life easier. Okay? So if your economic situation is better, then more than likely your life is going to be better. Okay? So all I'm saying is, Nate, Democrat Party, Republican Party, two different ways to achieve what I just said, okay? If you want somebody to hand you what they think you need to get to that goal, as opposed to someone giving you instruction how you can make as much money as you want to make and get to that goal how you choose to get there, not by the other person's way who says the only way you can get there is by this way. And if you don't follow this way, you're crazy or you're a sellout or whatever the case is. But that video, Mr. Ivy, I think a lot of black people and a lot of young black voters saw that video. And then they also saw what her husband said, Barack Obama, talking down social media. And he was specifically talking about Twitter, Nate. He wasn't talking about Facebook. He was talking about Twitter. And lo and behold, the next day, the CEO of Twitter says they're banning all political ads. Now, Nate, I'm telling you, none of this stuff is coincidental, okay? All this stuff is orchestrated because we got a political campaign coming up, and I don't think Donald Trump is going nowhere. He will be on the ballot, and the Democrat Party is going to have to face him and his policies that the American people are living. Remember the question, Nate? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? So I'm not taking up no more of your time, Mr. Ivy. Thank you for letting me start the show. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Appreciate the call. And that man has always got an agenda. Always. What is he talking about? But it's open to interpretation. I don't even know what he's talking about with Michelle Obama. He wouldn't say it, and I don't get it. I mean, you brought it up. So it's 8:32 a.m. Let's take the first break of the session of the morning. We'll be right back to continue our session. If you don't already have my number programmed into your cell phone, what are you waiting for? 513-873-7134. That way you can give me a call real easy. 513-873-7134. It does come with a little bit of a maxim. Open your mind before you open your mouth. Live, local, and vocal. I'm Nathan Ivy, nathanivy.com. We'll be right back.
Retired Judge Fernand Rucker I served District 1 for 12 years, retiring from the bench this September. And when it comes to replacing me on the court, to me, there's one clear choice: Janaea Trotter Bratton. Janaea was born and raised in Cincinnati, started her legal career in the municipal court, and has worked for years as a civil rights lawyer. She's a leader in our community, recognized by the NAACP and by the YWCA as a rising star. As a judge, I know Janaea will make our justice system work for everyone, and she will do it with compassion and fairness. So whether you live in Avondale or Evanston, Walnut Hills, the West End, or Mount Auburn, the people of District 1 need Janaea Trotter Bratton on the bench. She is the only Democrat in this race, and she has my full support. So on November 5th, vote Janaea Trotter Bratton for judge.
Thank you, Judge Rucker. It is an honor to have your endorsement. I ask you to elect me, Janaea Trotter Bratton, as the first Black woman to be elected to this judicial seat.
Paid for by the committee to elect Janaea Trotter Bratton judge.
Hello, this is Ron Dumas. Now is the time to vote for the only candidate that's never prosecuted hundreds of our people, who has never testified in a judge's trial, and sadly, that judge was found guilty of that very offense.
Our people died for your right to vote. Please do not let anyone or anything take away your freedom of choice. There is freedom and power in your vote. I still remember the image of Miss Jane Pittman. Please don't let anyone assume that they have your vote just because they hand you a paper or a ticket. We are smart people.
Now is the time to vote for Judge Elisa Murphy, who is fair, just, and the most experienced, who has been on the bench a total of 16 and a half years, who has fought on the front lines with Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, who has over 25 years of experience as a defense attorney, who is from Evanston, and her family own the Old Southern Restaurant in the West End.
I am honored to follow Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, Judge John Berlew, and Judge John Skip West, who all came from this balanced, nonpartisan district. Please vote for your homegrown judge, Judge Elisa Murphy.
Paid for by Murphy for Judge.
This is State Senator Cecil Thomas here, urging you to write in Ozzie Davis when you vote November 5th, and vote for Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones. And also on your ballot, vote Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board. They've been working hard together on our school board to improve our schools. Our kids deserve their consistent, strong leadership. Remember to vote November 5th. Write in Ozzie Davis and vote for Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones, and vote for Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board.
This is Pamela Bowers, and I approve this message. Paid for by Bowers for the Board.
This is Bishop Bobby Hilton. I support Janaea Trotter Bratton for District 1 Judge. We must hold candidates to the highest moral standards. Janaea shows integrity and is a Democrat that works hard for all those in our community. Janaea did not and would not sell out her values just to get a seat. Her opponent cut a deal with Republicans to become a magistrate and has continued to be Republican even under the Trump administration, something she fails to mention. But Janaea's opponent never forgets to mention her ties to a soul food restaurant ran decades ago, as if fried chicken will fool us into thinking she will fight for a fair judicial system. It's the same Republican playbook, assuming blacks are dumb enough to ignore facts and be swayed by down-home talk. Let's tell Miss Soul Food there's not enough fish plates in the world to make up for a lack of integrity and experience. Don't be fooled. A vote for the Republican is a vote for Trump's racist agenda. A vote for Janaea is a vote for justice.
Paid for by the Hamilton County Democratic Party.
This is State Senator Cecil Thomas here, urging you to write in Ozzie Davis when you vote November 5th, and vote for Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones. And also on your ballot, vote Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board. They've been working hard together on our school board to improve our schools. Our kids deserve their consistent, strong leadership. Remember to vote November 5th. Write in Ozzie Davis and vote for Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones, and vote for Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board.
This is Pamela Bowers, and I approve this message. Paid for by Bowers for the Board.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey in the air chair. Feel like I'm getting a little buzz here. What is? Okay, I got it. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me through that break. Good morning. If you want to share your thoughts, you can do so very easily at 513-873-7134. If you don't know, candy is out Bit of an inside joke. Some of the choppers refer to Andy Dalton as Candy Dalton. Why is that exactly? He's a married man. Are you implying he has sugar in his tank, or that he's just soft, like cotton candy? Is that what it is? Oh, okay, I get it. Candy Dalton. But he's out, if you care. I only bring it up because we're invested in the Bengals. If we weren't invested in the Bengals as Hamilton County taxpayers, I wouldn't give a damn. I'll say it again. I want the Bengals to go. I want the Bengals to lose as many games in a row as Tracy Hunter was incarcerated for some bull shizzle. That seems about fair, right? It seems about fair. She was incarcerated in a Hamilton County jail. Hamilton County taxpayers are funding the lifestyle of this 100 millionaire. I'll never understand how this is a good deal for us. And, of course, the team can't even produce one win. And the head coach isn't doing anything philanthropically in Cincinnati whatsoever. I'll say it again. Is Zach Taylor working in any schools? What is he doing other than losing games? Is he working in the community here in Cincinnati? That's the very least he could do. He could put that Zach attack together and maybe do something with the Free Store Food Bank. I'm sure they are. Every single year, the Bengals and the Free Store Food Bank, they do something down at Paul Brown Stadium. I'm sure he'll be there. But Marvin Lewis did more than that. Marvin Lewis made sure he had a philanthropic impact here in the city of Cincinnati. Listen, I got my criteria as to what a good coach is set. Do you? I don't give a damn about no X's and O's and wins and losses. Are you in the community? Marvin Lewis had an impact in our community. Any coach that comes after Marvin, at the very least, should do what Marvin did philanthropically here in the city of Cincinnati. People that really know what's going on, I'm sure you agree with me. I don't give a damn about the 0-8. So what? That's what you get. You think I'm joking? They go 0-16, man, I might throw a party. That's an accomplishment right there. I'm just telling you that. Now that's an accomplishment. So yesterday, your Cincinnati City Council did some council kind of stuff, whatever the hell that means. And they have now signed off on what we've been talking about for the last couple of days, and that's this new comprehensive approach to evictions, sponsored by Greg Landsman. Yeah. And I want to talk about it. In fact, I've got audio for you as well, so we can listen to what the various member of councils had to say and how they voted on it. We'll talk about that during the next hour. We'll get into it. For now, I want to go back to your chat and see what's on your mind. And it's the same old things. Look at Drop. Desperate Democrats take the fake impeachment vote this morning. Impeach 45 and 25, or in 2025. That would be after he's in office, like a year after he's in office, or he leaves his office from his second term. Let me see here. Well, 2025 actually will be the year that whoever, let's say Trump wins re-election in 2020. He gets 4 more years. Whoever the next president is will be inaugurated in January of 2025. That's when Drop says they should start the impeachment inquiry. No, impeachment means the sitting president. Your love is a bang, bang, bang. Your love is a bang, bang, bang. AKA the conceited bastard, AKA Fane Rothstein. He writes, "Good morning. I'm pissed about this whole Andy Dalton shit. Y'all missing the bigger picture. I might have to call in and blow up the negatives." Now, who else? That's his phrase. Now, brother, why are you? Can you explain to me? Can you explain to me the meaning of your profile here in the Chop Shop? So I've met Fane before. Fane is a black male. Believe it or not, he is a real black man. And yet he's changed his name to Yo Love is a Bang Bang Bang. And his profile picture is a white woman and what appears to be her child. I don't understand it. I'll let him explain it. Or not. Ashley writes, "Good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Just wanted to share that Baby Chopper is officially no longer on a feeding tube. We are so excited and blessed." That is beautiful news. That is great news. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Did anyone see the first black first lady begging white people to not fear black people? Oh, boy. Ray Rice Grand Risings all. That is great. Cassandra Rice, that's amazing. That is, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I am so happy to hear that. I really am. Yo love is a bang, bang, bang. Great news, Ashley. The young wolfette is healthy and ready to learn to hunt down suckers. Exactly. What is this? Dog Slick? What? DOCG Slick? He writes, what up, Doe Chop? I think he means Choppers. What's up with you, man? Good to see you. CG Dubs in the house. She writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. Somebody writes, Michelle is bourgeoisie. Black women didn't realize that because Michelle didn't whack-ish like calling Barry her baby daddy. See, there you go. Speaking of which, I see people are still misled when it comes to Kirk Franklin. I got some Facebook friends. I saw them posting about Kirk Franklin. You know what I'm saying? And, oh, yeah, the Dove Awards. We're gonna boycott the Dove Awards, all because Kirk Franklin is a selfish, egotistical man. He was too selfish to share the couple minutes he had with somebody other than himself until the end. And then when he gets cut off, he wants to blame it and call it racism, and now we want to go for diversity. I mean, something tells me that the Dove Awards and GMAs, that's the Gospel Music Awards, something tells me that there probably isn't a lot of diversity and a lot of stuff that he was saying was true. But that don't have nothing to do with him. I'll say it again for people that missed it. Kirk Franklin, if you really want to make a statement about a Tatiana Jefferson, lead with it. Choppers, if you ever get a chance to get on stage for a couple of minutes and you want to thank some people to help you get there, but you also want to make a statement and you think that statement might be controversial, you know what I'm saying, in contrast to the environment you're in right now, lead with it. You lead with it. And that way, see, now that would have been a story. Kirk Franklin gets up there, first things out of his mouth is, hey, guys, I want to take a moment of silence for Tatiana Jefferson. There, the curtain comes down, they take you off. Now we got a story. Now they cut you off. That ish that Kirk Franklin did is nothing more than race hustling. That's what it is. That's exactly what Drop be talking about. That's what Kirk Franklin's doing with this situation right now. Don't fall into that molasses. Don't do it. Don't do it. Real G's take responsibility for what they do. I know I do, don't you? I know you do. You up there telling baby mama jokes and talking about how you the gatekeeper, his ego. He wanted to let everybody know that I'm the Michael Jordan of this. And yeah, little Kobe's, little LeBrons, yeah, I'm opening the door for you. That's what it was all about. Nobody gives a damn about hearing that. You're in the same room with these people. You can go over to their table and tell them all of that. And then he wants to talk about a Tatiana Jefferson at the very end. Yeah, it's an award show, Negro. Who you think you are? He thinks he's Black Jesus. That's who he thinks he are, because y'all blew his head up. I blame you in the audience right now. All you supporters of Kirk Franklin. That's who I blame for this. I blame ya. I blame ya. That's who I blame, ya. You. For blowing this man's head up thinking he got 10 minutes on the stage. It don't work that way, Black Jesus. It don't work that way. But that's just me. You know, people say I'm cynical and I'm an ungodly man. So what do you think? We'll go to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Pleasant sounding and non-threatening black man. What's up?
Yes. Oh, it's always a pleasure to be talking to the #1 talk show host of this generation here every morning, even though it's raining. But you asked about my AV and my name. I'm just paying ode to Mr. Witherspoon. Yo Love is a Bang Bang Bang. That was his hit single on the Wayans Brothers. That was his Get On single. He performed it about once every season. As Pops, his old band, every old, you know what I'm saying? Every old TV show with an old black dude on it, he got some backstory of it, either being in a band or an athlete. And that was his thing. And then the picture is Casey Anthony and her daughter. And it's in Casey Anthony's title, Curiosity, the daughter's title, The Cat. Figure it out.
I figured it out, but I wanted you to call in and explain it. I'm glad you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, as far as Candy Dalton, see this. I keep telling you the racism in it. That's what I talk about when I say the fake wokeness of Colin Kaepernick. You people who were supporting Colin Kaepernick, you just don't like football because you don't see the racism in this Andy Dalton thing. Now it's come out that he was trying to get traded. That his agent was trying to work a trade for him to get him out of here. Let a black player do that and see what happens to him. Try to work a trade to get him out, to get him moved out of town. They'll call him all type of names.
Antonio Brown just did it.
And what did they do? They raked him over the coals for weeks. But Andy Dalton, all the white sports media in this town, from Lance McAllister to Mo Edgar to the TV news, that lady on Channel 5 needs to be fired.
What? Antonio Brown might have been a bad example. What lady on Channel 5 needs to be fired? Why?
The sports lady. Oh, it's like she's in a love affair with Andy Dalton. She was just so upset on Twitter yesterday that he got benched. I mean, I'm not gonna say her name, to protect you. I don't know. I want to get into any of that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't even know her name. She's like 6'6". That big ass Amazon woman. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
I seriously can't even think of her name right now. It might be Elise Jesse, because Elise Neal kept popping in my head, but we know it's not her. That's the actress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elise Jesse. Elise. Yeah. I think there is an Elise Jesse.
Yeah, or something like that. Go down her Twitter
feed
from
right
yesterday.
Now. Elise Jesse. Like I'm on her Instagram, but on her Twitter. I don't know if she's tall or not.
No, she's every bit as tall. She's taller than you.
She's taller than me. So she's taller than 6'4" then.
Yeah, I vaguely remember covering her in high school.
Is she wearing a red dress in her profile pic?
I don't follow her on Instagram.
No, I mean I'm on Twitter.
Oh, I don't. I mean, you'll see the logo for the station she works at.
Okay, I don't see a logo. I see
she should have a blue check and she should have a blue check in her profile say what she works.
WLWT?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on her Twitter right now. You say she all and Dalton. It happened 3 hours before the trade. Ask Dalton if this was the hardest thing he's been through.
I mean, just it's other tweets. You got to go back into it from yesterday.
I can't imagine how hard this is for Andy. I mean, she's doing her job, man.
Nathan, to paraphrase or not paraphrase, but to borrow from a very famous hood movie. People lose jobs every day. B, he be all right. He tough, right? You know what I'm saying? Who cares that he got benched? Whoop-de-damn-do, he's shown. And now they're talking about how nice of a guy he is. This shouldn't happen to a guy. I'm like, what? You all had no problem calling Barry Larkin. And Glenn, back me up on this. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. When Barry Larkin was at the end of his contract with the Reds and wouldn't waive his no-trade clause to get traded to the Mets, they called him selfish. Every name in the book but N-word and a child of God. Barry Larkin was everything negative because he didn't want to get traded. He wanted to stay with the Reds and whatnot. But now Andy Dalton tries to get out of here, and it's like, oh, how could you do this to such a nice guy? That's the racism in sports. Not you can't go protest at your job. But that's what I've always said. The people who support Colin Kaepernick just don't like football.
I would say
that's all.
I would say that racism in sports is like racism in the rest of society. It comes in many different forms. It's a microcosm. It comes in many different forms. So yeah, what you just explained was in the form of racism, and what happened to Colin Kaepernick is a form of racism too.
No, it's not. It's not. We're not here to talk about color.
Man. How is being blackballed by a bunch of white rich guys not racist? What are you talking about?
You used to work for commercial radio. If you would have went into work and protested something against the core values or whatever, just protesting, period.
Bad example.
Of your parent station.
Bad example.
No, you would have been fired.
Bad example. Let back up to what I just said to you. Number one, how is it not racism? This non-white man playing.
Whoa. Colin Kaepernick's half white.
Yeah, but he's non-white.
He's half white.
In the eyes of white people, they're going to look at him and see what? A brother. So he's a non-white man. He's a non-white man.
He's got a very Italian nose.
Working for a league full of primarily non-black owners, primarily white males that own it and make the rules, and they blackballed him. That's the essence of racism. It's the essence of racism. So, again, two things can be true at the same time. That's another one of your phrases, man. You should know better. So, yeah, I think what happened with Andy and Marvin and the way people are reacting to it, I'm with you on that. And what happened with Colin, we all know what happened. And, again, it's a bad example for me because I used to work and give my opinion every single day.
Yeah, that's different. I'm talking about had you been on air, but had you been walking around the office passing out abortion pamphlets or something?
That's not what Colin Kaepernick did. That's not what he did, though. That's not a great example.
On the job. He's protesting on the job. 90% of your audience does not have that luxury to go to work and do what they want to do.
Right. It's different industries. You're right. Most people don't have that luxury.
Colin Kaepernick is an employee, or was. He was an employee.
Yeah, and I think you're right.
And in football is the ultimate classroom, the only sport where you practice more than you play. It's like a classroom, just like your daughter. My kids are going to class. They get drilled for a week. And then after a week or two, they take a test on what they've been drilled on. NFL practices. And then Sunday, they take a test against another team who practiced. And they take a test to see who had the better drilling throughout the week.
Still don't make it a better example. I'm just telling you.
I'm about to. Can I bring it home?
Please do.
Distractions to that classroom environment is detrimental to your testing. Let an alarm go off inadvertently while they're taking the state testing at the end of the year. They're going to end the period and we'll make up the test next week. It is unfair to test you guys under this distraction. Colin Kaepernick is a distraction. He doesn't equate. But that's what I'm trying to say. His wasn't about a matter of racism. The way they sweating Andy Dalton, pumping him up like he deserves a King's exit. No, that's racist. That's racist. Not this other cat. I'm sorry. You're never going to convince me of that. I'm never going to convince you of that. We've got cognitive dissonance. I was just using him as an example.
I just said it was a bad example. That's all.
You disagree with the example, but okay. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't trying to convince you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just using him as an example. You got triggered.
Well, thank you.
Snowflake.
So now I'm Snowflake. You're so damn disrespectful.
But anyway.
You're so damn disrespectful.
I mean, well, people are disrespectful to me. I think I'm going to start reciprocating it.
Well, I ain't tell you to stop. Do you?
No, I'm not you, but, some of these people, I'm like, it's not my fault you've got the personality of a cinder block. Don't get mad at me. There was another thing I wanted to talk about, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, but you lost me when you couldn't admit that what happened to Colin Kaepernick was racist. I mean, come on, man.
I don't find it to be racist.
You don't find a black man, a non-white man being blackballed by a bunch of rich white guys racist? That's the essence of racism.
So him going and getting a white daddy to be his lawyer, that's equally as racist. Couldn't find a black lawyer, Colin? Oh, you went back and tapped to your white heritage.
That's irrelevant.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to convince you, though. I just think that's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant. Okay. We're not going, black people love to run the white lawyers, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, because it's irrelevant. Like I said, that has nothing to do with what happened to Colin Kaepernick.
There's never, ever any black lawyers qualified to handle anything.
I mean, listen, that might be an excellent point for a different conversation. In this one, it's irrelevant.
No, I don't find that to be that, but it is what it is.
Yep.
I will holler at you at the next moon. Oh!
Okay. Trying to come back with a very throaty howl there. That man. Oh, man. So what happened to Colin Kaepernick was not racist. Sure. I'm looking at this, at least, Jesse. I mean, we already know that about Cincinnati. Cincinnati would rather lose with a white coach than win with a black coach. We got it. We got it. Dusty Baker, we got it. Marvin, is that the same say? I don't know. Marvin was here for a long time. Some would say years after he should have been here, but we shall see. 513-873-7134. So I got a chance to look at these campaign finance reports with these school board members, and it's quite interesting. And I'll say it again, and people can take this any way they want to. This is me doing me and my authentic self. This ain't about no alliances. It ain't about no Democrats and Republicans. I would say this no matter what. And that is, why does Ben Lindy want to be on the school board? I asked that question again. I received a third mailer to my house. I've received 3 mailers to my house for school board. You know how expensive that is? And it happened 3 times. 3 times. And the way the money is flowing this race is quite interesting. I'll just say, I got a chance to talk to Mr. Lindy. Seems like a great guy. This ain't personal. This is just me talking. And I'll ask again, why? What's the agenda? Everybody has an agenda. What is Ben Lindy's agenda? Why are these people, spending all this money? And people, it's, without getting into all the names specific and the details, Ben Lindy has raised the kind of money for school board that would have gotten him on city council the last go round. Like, I can't remember who the 9th place person was. Well, I do remember it was Pastor, but I don't remember how much money he raised. I don't think that Ben Lindy's too far back. Why? This is school board. School board. I don't know. I'll throw it out there. Let me go to the phones here. We got Donnie B on the line. Hold on. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's up, fam? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
This is your girl, Donnie B.
What's up, Donnie?
So I'm at work, minding my own business, and I hear your voice saying, I was wanting to know how many days it would be before we would disagree again. And did we make it 7? So I just wanted to respond to Fame's comments about Kaepernick and it not being racism and Cap being, a distraction and doing something that you're normally not allowed to do at work. A lot of employment lawyers were trying to be on that bandwagon, and it bothered me because I'm like, Fame's right and wrong. Normally, in the workplace, you are not allowed to do politics at work. But name one other job other than in the sports arena where you're required to stand up and sing the national anthem at work. That doesn't happen. So my thing is, if you are going to be an employer that injects politics or patriotism into the workplace by having people sing the national anthem, stand up, pledge allegiance to the flag, then you now have opened the door for people who don't agree with whatever the patriotism or politics that you voluntarily brought into their workplace. They now have a right to say, you know what, I don't agree with that. So my issue is everybody acts like that Kaepernick is the one that injected, politics into the NFL, and he didn't. Why do we sing the national anthem at the football games? And then he goes, oh, well, Cap was a distraction. But he was only a distraction because of white folks' racism. There have been other people that have stood up for things that they believe in or don't believe in, domestic violence, all kinds of stuff, and nobody said a word. But because white people do not agree with the reason that Kaepernick protested, which is racist, that's what became the distraction. So we can't penalize Cap because the thing that he chose to speak out about is something that white people don't like, and then say we're going to blackball you because you're the distraction. Saying you're confused. The distraction is not Cap. The distraction is the white people's reaction to what he did, and that's the racism. Why are you mad? Because as an African American, I stand up and say, I don't like police brutality and the way blacks are treated by the cops in this country. When you aren't mad at women, when they stood up on the domestic violence piece, when the black dude beat the hell out of his fiance, remember, knocked her ass out in the elevator? And all the other white NFL players that beat the hell out of their wives and girlfriends, and other people stood up. for domestic violence. So I'm like, oh, now Cap's a distraction? Okay. So I just wanted to call in for fame. Like, you got to dig deeper, my brother, and don't buy into the BS that they're trying to sell you. That's all I got. I was like, fame, I love you, but...
All right, Donnie, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow at 12:30. Donnie B, Is It Just Me podcast. All right, take it easy.
Talk to you.
Yeah, most deaf. That's Donnie B. We'll go ahead and rock her. Come on now. Great point. People forget that. She's absolutely right. I mean, let's be real. People forget that. I mean, you know, you working in this environment where the NFL injected that. It was the NFL that formed a relationship with the Defense Department and, you know, wanted to come across as patriotic. And so when you open that door to be political, how can you now get mad at the employees who are merely reacting in the environment that you created? And that was the other way it was completely unfair to Cap, because those brothers didn't say, if they had their option, they would just leave it out. Why do you have to do it at the game anyway? It should all be voluntary. It should all be voluntary. But the reason why is you had primarily white fans that didn't like it. They want to see these primarily non-white ball players show their patriotism. I don't know why that's so damn important to them, but it is. And when Cap didn't do that, they tried to make it a big deal out of it. Again, that's the essence of... And then he was blackballed. Man, I said you lost me on that one, Fame. Right there. I didn't understand that one, but I'm sure you've got a reason. Trump jinx. Nationals fans greeted Trump with boos and calls to lock him up at the Washington and the Washington Nationals won the World Series. Is that right? But back to what I was saying about the school board, Michelle Billingham's going to come on. And I don't know what she's going to say. She said she wanted to come on and share some information about school board candidates, in particular, I think, Ben Lindy. I don't have anything against Mr. Lindy. If he gets on city count, on school board, okay. But I'm just wondering. I mean, when I look at where the money is coming in, you got a lot of out-of-town money. Why? I just don't know why. Why is this so important? You know, again, not to pick on any one person, but if it didn't matter who it came from, you know, I'd be saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And people need to ask themselves why. Like I said, I just noticed it because, you know, to me, that says something when a candidate can put a mailer out, right? That means they got a certain amount of money. And so I'm just counting them as they come in. And overwhelmingly, there's one candidate who has a lot of money. Why? Maybe he just loves the kids. Maybe that's what it is. And then, you know, it's go big or go home, right? I mean, any candidate would try to raise as much money as they possibly can. So you just can't use the fact that somebody raised a lot of money against them. No, I don't think that's necessarily fair. Maybe they're just a tremendous, a fundraiser. Maybe. You know, but one thing that I noticed when I looked through all of the candidates' campaign, I'm talking about the CPS candidates' campaign finance reports. As I look through them, you know, the majority of these candidates are getting money from inside the city, which makes sense. And then others, a lot of it's coming from out. Why? Is it just a personality thing? Could be. Like if you're somebody, you just make a lot of, you know a lot of people, you've made friends with a lot of people that's got means and they like you. They're going to rock with you no matter what because they like you generally and like who you are. Okay, I get it. That could completely be the explanation for it. Or something else. I don't know. Maybe you do. Brian writes, no sympathy needed. Then he writes 3 rings, #GSW. Yep, that first ring you got because LeBron basically damn near was by himself. He was out there with a pork chop sandwich and some dinner rolls and put on the most tremendous NBA Finals performance we had ever seen in modern NBA history. And everybody knows if Kyrie Irving had not got hurt, if Kevin Love hadn't got hurt, that could have GSW could have lost that series. But injuries. So I don't have no sympathy for Golden State Warriors or any other team whatsoever. Them's the breaks. You know, he'll be okay. Unlike you and me, Steph Curry's going to get the best. He's going to get the kind of medical treatment that'll get him out and back on the court the healthiest and the quickest possible. Multi-million-dollar type. He'll be all right. His little hand. He'll be okay. Kush writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Put a tattoo on it. It'll make it feel better. Mason Marler writes, so let me get this straight. Michelle Obama is whack, but you support Donald Trump, who cheated on his Michael Jackson nose-having wife with a porn star without wearing a rubber? Talk about whack? That was Mason Marler. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag Team and I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Gerald. Jared, appreciate it. Eb writes, good morning. Eb G, good morning to you. Mason Marler writes, I smell burnt biscuits. Brian writes, top 5 pick next year. Don't sleep. Enjoy the wins this year. Hashtag GSW. You know what I like about you, B? Is you rolling with them no matter what. I thought you might have jumped off the bandwagon. Let me give it a couple of years, B. I respect it. If that's your team, you willing to go up and down with them, cool, I respect it. Mike Jones writes, the Byron Allen interview on The Breakfast Club was hella informative. Wasn't it, though? Yeah, they caught up with Byron Allen, and he broke it down. Anytime that I see Byron Allen during interviews, I always watch it. I'd be a damn fool not to. I'd be a damn fool. I'm a big Byron Allen fan. Jesse writes, he talks about everything except the impeachment inquiry. Pamela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. I would have to walk in on Drops spreading his nonsense. Yeah, sorry about that, but he had to get his daily dose in. Clue Magic writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, good to see you, Clue. Sister Iris is in the house. She writes, good morning, great people. Obama looked good for visuals, but he passed no policies to benefit blacks. We had Deanna Hoskins on, right? And she was a part of the Obama administration working on his criminal justice reform and reentry programs, right? From Hamilton County, from Cincinnati, right? And she said, I asked her, how would you grade it? And she said, I give him a C, which I thought was fair when she broke it down. She said, I give him an A for his desire, like what he wanted to do, his aspirations, the kinds of policies that they were trying to get behind. But it was a C when it comes to delivery. You got an F on delivery because they couldn't get shit through. They couldn't get through Congress. And that goes back to we the people. We the people in this country, if you supported Barack Obama and you did not vote in that midterm, you can't say nothing because you set the man up for legislative gridlock with a against the first black president. I mean, you set this man up for failure. And so that's what he struggled with. He struggled with trying to get past with this obstinate do-nothing Congress. I mean, go back and look at the history books. I don't need to go over it again. I feel like I've said it many times before, but it's the truth. That's what happened. Not to make any excuses for the man, because I'm not saying I agree with all his policies, especially my disagreement was his U.S. foreign policy, which was it was too congruent, too similar to the Bush foreign policy. That was one of my biggest gripes. But, you know, the proliferation of the war on terror, you know, Obama did all that stuff. That's my gripe with him. That's one of my biggest gripes, what he was doing to the world. You know what I'm saying? But the domestic policy, we could have created a black Tea Party, but we didn't. We sat back and we talked about the Tea Party. And while they was voting in the midterms in 2010 and then 4 years later in 2014, I believe, where I might have get that. Wait. Let me back up here. He got it in 2008, 2010, 20. Yeah. We'll just go with 2010. And then 4 years later. my brain's moving fast enough. And set this man up for failure. So, yeah, he got a second term, but he had a second term with an obstinate do-nothing Congress, with Senate leaders, with congressional leaders who would go on national TV and swear they weren't going to do nothing to help this guy. It wouldn't have mattered what happened. And I still think Obama was able to get some things through. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's all about, if we all had the same information, then I think we can come to some reasonable conclusions. But I don't, when I hear people say that stuff about it, I'm like, y'all just don't remember. If you know, that's just what it is. Jesse, this is Pamela. Pamela writes, Jesse, that's what I was thinking. Drop always talking about Kamala and Corey, who most people don't give a rat's ass about. But he doesn't talk about how the looming impeachment of his massa Trump. He's in la-la land. Yeah, Drop doesn't want to deal with the fact that his, I won't say his massa, but the leader of his party, because he said that. That's fair. That's the way he characterized himself. He don't really want to hear that. He don't want to hear that. And we'll see what happens. Woody Rice dropped on head just a Don the Con lapdog. Dropped on head. Okay. The real boogeyman from the 80s. He writes, good morning. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Are you a fan of scary movies? Horror stories? I don't know. I was thinking about some of the, my favorite, because I'm a big horror fan, although I don't get a chance to partake as much as I used to. So is my daughter, by the way. It's funny how you can create somebody and they can be your best little road dog and your best buddy. My daughter is, I'm telling you, she is great to watch movies with because she can get into it and she knows how to enjoy it. And she's a foodie. She's great to go out with. Telling you, I love that girl. But anyway, and she's doing, I hesitate to say how she's doing. She's keeping her head above water. She's doing what she's been asked to do so far as we go into we're in the second quarter now. Her first quarter, she met my expectations. And her own, I think she was a little bit low on her own personal expectations she conveyed to us. I'm like, girl, you'll be okay. On to the next one. That first quarter over with. Second quarter. Let me see here. Again, coming up at 9:30 a.m., I'm scheduled to be joined by Michelle Dillingham. Now, Michelle Dillingham is known locally. I think currently, she could talk about that. She's working with the Federation of Teachers. I think that's I don't know her job title, but she can speak on that. Cincinnati Federation of Teachers, I believe so. And of course, people know she ran for city council and she didn't win. She came in 10th, and there was a little bit of a back and forth between her and, well, not even back and forth, but they had to do the recount between her and Jeff Pastor. And, I miss Black Russia, man, because Black Russia was always good for some drama. And just like I suspected, on some levels, Black Russia was the leader of that whole, movement that was happening on Twitter. The Mac twins, they was going hard with the fake. I mean, I still see the fake profiles, but nowhere near as much. And remember, he used to call in and say a lot of disparaging things about Michelle Dillingham, which to this day I still don't understand. I don't understand why. But she's going to schedule to give us a call at 9:30. Wonder what she'll say. I don't know. Cam writes, oh, no, not the fried chicken and fish dinner political ads by Bishop Bob. Somebody writes, vote for Judge Murphy. I told you. Oh, man. Tracy writes, I told you all the commercials and matters would come this week. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's election push time. The election is right around the corner. You got one last weekend. That means that people who are running for elective office, I'm trying to get John Coleman on the show, man. He said he would come on, but he won't respond to any of my messages. If anybody knows John Coleman, could you please relay that message? John Coleman is a brother who's running against Tyrone Yates. And he said he would come on the show. We met up. And to this point, we have been, I won't say we're missing each other. He just hasn't responded. Wonder why. I don't know. What's up with Ron Dumas? The man has lost his way. Yeah, all the commercials and mailers are going to come this week. You want to get some mailers over the weekend because this is the last opportunity for those who are running for elective office to get in front of you. And they want you to remember their name, remember who they are. That's what they want. Cam Rice Trotter probably sits on the trustee board of Bishop Bobby's church and pays much offering and tithes. Sharp Rice, did the city council do a re-vote on the United Way yet? I do not believe so. Somebody writes, is that Alton Coleman on your Avi? Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord, I hope not. GAH writes, good morning, good folk. Good morning to you. Tanika writes, he's not. Nate is wrong on this one it dropped. Mike writes, Fame with his professional Negro voice. I'm glad we're through the whole professional Negro conversation. Oh, my God. Okay, what am I wrong about? Yeah, I don't mind it. I stand to be corrected. Brian writes, she's on Channel 5. Okay, WOWC, I think that's Channel 5, so. The real boogeyman from the 80s writes, exactly, Fame. AB sexual assault allegations went away soon as the Patriots dropped them. It was never about AB assault allegations. It was about AB wanting out of Oakland his way. So, yeah, it could have been that the people in Oakland, somebody heard about this and started putting it out there to spoil him going to the Patriots. That could have very well happened. Mike Davis writes, what do you think about what Obama said about call-out culture, Drop? Well, if you don't know what Obama said, basically said it was fake woke. And what he's saying is that that's not real activism. And I agree, obviously, because when you think of activism, you think of people in the real world, not the digital world. But as we take, each day we take in this new digital landscape, this new digital millennia that we live in, the digital world becomes more and more important. The digital world can be used to start a movement that can have an impact in the real world. So that's where I kind of disagree with him. I mean, I just felt like maybe Obama could have gave some more constructive guidance on how to transfer it. Rather than saying, oh, you know, woke, it's you fake woke, why don't you give some thoughts on how they can transfer that? Right? How they can take it from what he says is fake woke and bring it into something that's real. He called out young progressives for being too ideologically rigid and judgmental during an interview. Are young progressives too ideologically rigid and judgmental? I don't know. Quote, the idea of purity and you're never comprised. And again, I didn't hear the entire interview, so it could have been that Obama did in fact do so. He was speaking at the Obama Foundation Summit in Chicago. And he told the political woke people to not be so judgmental. And I will say that people who classify themselves as woke, some of them anyway, can be super judgmental. Like, it's some black people out there that think they control what woke is. Right. I've talked to black folks that want to check me like, I ain't woke enough. I'm like, well, who the hell put you in charge of wokeness? What do you mean? How is your woke better than mine? Or you hear people say, he just got woke or she just got woke. Well, I don't give a damn when you wake up as long as you're awake. I don't care when you unplug out of the matrix, whether you've been unplugged for years or you just unplugged. You're unplugged now. I'm glad. Yeah, there is a debate. I've seen people go back and forth. You ain't woke, fake woke. You know, people go to a couple YouTube channels that now all of a sudden they woke. People understand what ADOS mean. Oh, shit. You understand what it means, the acronym? Oh, now that makes you woke because you know what ADOS means. Yeah, there's people like that. HIPAA fucking crits. That's what they are. Most of them. You know? So I think there might be something to that. What do you think? Now, that's not everybody. I mean, it's always going to be a group here, a group there. Is it fair to generalize the whole? I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if I would take it that far, but calling y'all out. He calling you out. He says some young people appear to think that the way to bring about change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people, and that's enough. I mean, I can't say that I haven't seen that. I spoke about it. It's like, just go do it. You ain't got to be judgmental. If you're woke and you feel like you woke, then go spread the gospel of wokeness among your friends and family. Just go do that. But, you know, within our society, there's always like tribalism and, you know, people want to like click off and things like that. It just seems like it's a very natural human tendency, whether you're white or black or whatever your color is. That's what it seems to me. So this is Obama. I agree with Obama on some of this. On some of it. I have to hear the entire thing to really give you my opinion about it concretely, but I mean, I think there's an element of truth in there. But that doesn't mean that there's people online, or maybe you're on Twitter, or maybe you're on Facebook or Instagram and you woke, and that don't mean that can't turn into what Obama might call activism. And I wonder if he spoke about that. Maybe he did. I'm just missing it. You know, he might have broke it all down like, here's how you do it, but it's just not getting reported because he said that woke culture is not activism. The other thing is woke culture trying to be activism. Is he making the wrong assumption? I mean, is he assuming that woke culture wants to be active? Maybe they don't. Maybe it's just about awareness culture or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out here, man. I'm spitballing with you. What do you think? 513-873-7134. I got about 7 minutes until the bottom of the hour. And then we're going to bring on, I'm scheduled to be joined by Michelle Dillingham, so we'll get a sense of what's going on with her. So she wants to talk with the community, talk with the audience. So that's coming up. Plus, we'll take your phone calls at 513-873-7134. Nathan Ivey Show. Remember, live, local, and vocal. And we'll be right back.
Senator Cecil Thomas here, urging you to write in Ozzie Davis when you vote November 5th, and vote for Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones. And also on your ballot, vote Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board. They've been working hard together on our school board to improve our schools. Our kids deserve their consistent, strong leadership. Remember to vote November 5th. Write in Ozzie Davis and vote for Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones, and vote for Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board.
This is Pamela Bowers, and I approve this message. Paid for by Bowers for the Board.
This is retired Judge Fanon Rucker. I served District 1 for 12 years, retiring from the bench this September. And when it comes to replacing me on the court, to me, there's one clear choice: Janaea Trotter Bratton. Janaea was born and raised in Cincinnati, started her legal career in the municipal court, and has worked for years as a civil rights lawyer. She's a leader in our community, recognized by the NAACP and by the YWCA as a rising star. As a judge, I know Janaea will make our justice system work for everyone, and she will do it with compassion and fairness. So whether you live in Avondale or Evanston, Walnut Hills, the West End, or Mount Auburn, the people of District 1 need Janaea Trotter Bratton on the bench. She is the only Democrat in this race, and she has my full support. So on November 5th, vote Janaea Trotter Bratton for judge.
Thank you, Judge Rucker. It is an honor to have your endorsement. I ask you to elect me, Janaea Trotter Bratton, as the first Black woman to be elected to this judicial seat.
Paid for by the committee to elect Janaea Trotter Bratton judge.
Hello, this is Ron Dumas. Now is the time to vote for the only candidate that's never prosecuted hundreds of our people, who has never testified in a judge's trial, and sadly, that judge was found guilty of that very offense.
Our people died for your right to vote. Please do not let anyone or anything take away your freedom of choice. There is freedom and power in your vote. I still remember the image of Miss Jane Pittman. Please don't let anyone assume that they have your vote just because they hand you a paper or a ticket. We are smart people.
Now is the time to vote for Judge Elisa Murphy, who is fair, just, and the most experienced, who has been on the bench a total of 16 and a half years, who has fought on the front lines with Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, who has over 25 years of experience as a defense attorney, who is from Evanston, and her family own the Old Southern Restaurant in the West End.
I am honored to follow Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, Judge John Burlew, and Judge John Skip West, who all came from this balanced, nonpartisan district. Please vote for your homegrown judge, Judge Elisa Murphy.
Paid for by Murphy for Judge.
This is State Senator Cecil Thomas here, urging you to write in Ozzie Davis when you vote November 5th, and vote for Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones. And also on your ballot, vote Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board. They've been working hard together on our school board to improve our schools. Our kids deserve their consistent, strong leadership. Remember to vote November 5th. Write in Ozzie Davis and vote for Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones, and vote for Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board.
This is Pamela Bowers, and I approve this message. Paid for by Bowers for the Board.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's currently 9:28 a.m. in the Queen City. Nathan Ivey with you. I flow, therefore I am. Broadcasting live from a secret location from somewhere within Cincinnati, Ohio. So if the bomb drops, we all going out together. Matter of fact, we all going out together no matter what, because we are living in the last days, my friends. Yeah. As foretold in the good book, the last days of common sense are upon us. And we're going to navigate these uncharted waters together, morning by morning, flow by flow, call by call, guest by guest, to try to make some sense out of it. And then this should put your heart to rest. I've instructed my family to keep all of the recordings of the show that will be buried with me, my remains. And that way, when either an alien civilization or some future civilization uncovers it, they will know that there were at least a small group of people that had common sense. A small group of people in Cincinnati, Ohio, who knew what the hell was going on, we stay woke. We never fall asleep. Something like that. Good morning, 513-873-7134. Coming up at 9:30 a.m., I'm scheduled to be joined by Michelle Dillingham. I see she put it out on Facebook, and she's going to be talking about this open letter. And I got a chance to read it, and a lot of it here she is right here. I'll go straight to her. Hey, good morning, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me this morning. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Michelle, for folks who don't know who you are and what you do, just kind of introduce yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. Well, I'm a social worker professionally, been doing a lot of advocacy work for a lot of years, but most recently, I've been doing the Cincinnati Educational Justice Coalition work for about 6 years now, which is connected into a national movement around public education justice work. I also have a new gig, so I'm working with the Cincinnati Federation of Teachers, doing some organizing, and that. So I just got started with that work.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you there's an open letter that you guys have put out. It's already out there, right? The open letter?
Yes. In fact,
Okay.
I just posted it to your page
Okay.
so that your listeners could take a look at it.
Okay, thank you for that. So tell us about what's going on.
Well, the campaign finance reports came out, and, this is called a pre-general report, and this is where candidates have to disclose who their contributors are, their donors. And then, of course, that's only through, I think, October 1st. And then you won't see all the donors that come through until after the election's over. That's called a post-general report. So sometimes, just side note, people who don't want to reveal who their donors are, the donors will give kind of at the last minute, so people won't see it until after the election's over. But in any case, so the school board candidates, just like any other candidate, they just had their donor base, their donors were on their report. And this open letter kind of drills down into our concerns about Ben Lindy, which, of course, we already had for many, many various reasons. But this campaign finance report just kind of confirmed our worst fears.
Now, Michelle, when you said our concerns, and when you speak of our, who are you speaking of?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that. So we meet every month. We are we're not a 501c3 or a nonprofit. This is a loose group of people. It includes parents, teachers, retired teachers. Sometimes students come. So we're kind of like a grassroots collection of people who come together who are connected into a national network of justice coalitions around the country. One of them being Journey for Justice out of Chicago, which is we all work together at the national level to really fuel a movement around people understanding the threat that public education is under, right?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to. So the Ben Lindy open letter, let's just take a moment to go back in time when Ben Lindy ran for a state rep seat in 2016. Of course, he lost that race. He raised a whole lot of money then as well and lost to Bridget Kelly. After that election was over, he continued to lead the Teach for America corporate company, here in Cincinnati, and he went up to Columbus and he lobbied for $4 million that came right out of our state budget. These are taxpayer dollars, you and I's dollars, to be earmarked for Teach for America alumni to build up their administrator, lobbyist, principal, bench. I raise that point. It's a small point, but I just want your audience and everyone to understand that this is not just some innocent, interest in, well, I just want to help the kids, right? Which is what you hear a lot from Ben Lindy, and that may be true. But what's also true is that he is part of a national network that is peeling off millions and millions of public dollars to the Teach for America machine. And so people need to understand what the impact of that is on our local school district. So I don't want to keep talking. Let me know.
Well, no, this is great information because, I've heard this stuff about Ben Lindy, and I spoke with Ben Lindy. I brought it up to him and asked him directly. So I'm trying to figure out what's the issue here. Like, is this something that the community should be alarmed about?
Yes, we should be very alarmed.
And so what is the fear that you have with Ben Lindy becoming a school board member?
Right. Well, here's the thing. It would be different if he said, look, I care about the kids. I want to serve in a policy role. And if you elect me, I will resign from Teach for America. Now, that would be one thing. But, of course, he is not saying that, and he is not going to do that. If he wins, and he very well could because he's spent almost $200,000 on this seat so far, and he'll have television. He's about to run television ads. Here's the thing. He's refusing to step down from Teach for America. We see this as the most egregious issue, that this is such a conflict of interest. And we fear that, even if he recuses himself from a specific vote, he really needs to recuse himself from every vote because Teach for America is so involved. Their new model is building bench. They're trying to build these pipelines for lobbyists and administrators. It's no longer, let's just put these college grads into our inner city classrooms. They're saying, yeah, do that, check that box, and then we're going to move you into leadership. We want to move these people right up into being principals. So that's their new model. And also they're now dipping their toes into preschool, which I got to direct your audience to. Julian Vasquez-Helig. He is the new dean of the School of Education at University of Kentucky, and he has a whole podcast called Truth for America, and it exposes this whole Teach for America thing. It's really deep, I'll tell you. We just posted the most recent episode on our Facebook page, Cincinnati Educational Justice Coalition. So check it out.
I will. I'll circle back around to get that information because I'm interested. Okay, so Ben Lindy has got a lot of money. So I was talking about it earlier. I mean, could that be because he's just a hell of a campaigner? He's got a lot of friends. He's got deep pockets. Or, there could be some other agenda. I don't know. When I asked Mr. Lindy about it, when I asked him directly about it, I said, so what's your agenda? Why are you going to be on the school board? Life seems to be good. You know what I'm saying? So why are you going to be on school? Well, he challenged me. He said, well, so what could possibly be, He said, what's the advantage, basically, of him being on the school board from the position of him? I asked him if he was going to step down as being the CEO, and he said no. He's stepping down temporarily, and he's going to go back, which CPS being a vendor, some votes you got to recuse yourself, so obviously there's going to be some lines that's overlap there. But, other than that, I think people are looking at him as an alternative because they're looking at CPS thinking CPS has not performed to this point. So somebody's got to come in here with something new and try to do something. So why do you think do you think that his something new, speaking very vaguely, is not good for CPS? Why is it not good for us?
So let me just preface this answer by saying I was a parent at Cincinnati Public. I had pretty much a terrible experience. My son's special needs. I fought for every single year that he was in Cincinnati Public. I had to fight the system to get what he needed. So I am under no illusion that, we have a perfect school district and everything's great. I will be the first person to say that is not the case. However, electing and bringing in privatizers, people who are trying to charter out our district and make a profit, is not the answer here. Okay? Now, so again, yes, lots of problems at CPS. Is Ben Lindy the solution? Hell no. Okay? I'll give a specific answer about what the possible threat is and his connections. And we laid this out in the open letter. His wife is chief of operations at Accelerate Great Schools. Accelerate Great Schools is a corporate-backed corporate education fund that was created a few years ago. It was on the front page of the paper. We're going to fix, CPS. We're going to fix the problem. And what did they do? All the money they used, they went to try and open new charter schools and to fund the Catholic CIS schools. Okay, so my point is, you don't care about our schools because you're not doubling down and investing in our neighborhood schools. Instead, you're trying to profit and open parallel charters, which is exactly what they did in Bond Hill. They opened Regeneration. And so here you have Ben Lindy, his wife, a top manager at a corporate education fund, told the district, we included this in the letter. We put some stuff in there that's pretty controversial and saying stuff that you don't usually hear said because everybody likes to keep it all secret, but it has to be said that Accelerate Great Schools gave a grant to the Spencer Gifted School, right? But that was conditional upon them recruiting Teach for America. Particularly, they wanted upper management at that school, upper administrators like the principal to be TFA. Trust and believe corporate Cincinnati does not give anything out for free. They want something in return. I'll ask your audience this question. Why hasn't the Chamber of Commerce and Corporate Cincinnati endorsed the school levy this year when they were all over it when it was the preschool promise? Because there's nothing in it for them this year. And shame on them. It's disgusting. So, look, I haven't even had my coffee yet this morning, but I really challenge people to please read this letter and be informed that this is not some innocent game about the school board race. Mm-hmm. Ben Lindy is backed by some serious, like the Farmer Foundation. Farmer Foundation is a local, that's the dude who's given millions to Republicans. It is a who's who of corporate-backed privatization education outfit. The Charter Growth Company out of Atlanta, and the list goes on. So for him to feign innocence and is disingenuous at best.
Speaking of being genuine, as you were speaking, I sent an email to Ben Lindy. I just thought it was fair that he be aware of the conversation and perhaps he can chime in after we get off. So just so you know. And then there's people are saying that he was at the latest school board meeting, which was, I believe, this week on Tuesday. And he said that he would step down if he becomes, if I'm reading this correctly, that he said he would step down if he becomes a school board member. So maybe his position has changed. He came on this show last week or so and said that he was going to stay, but maybe he's thought about it.
Or maybe the pressure is mounting, and that what he sees is that he's not going to be able to get done what he really wants to get done if he has to recuse himself from all those votes. You know, and these folks play a lot of games. So even if he's not officially the CEO, maybe he'll be a contract, you know, for some other, you know, name that they make up. So it's a shell game. It's a shell game, and they play it well because they're highly resourced. And here's the thing about this open letter. We're under no illusions that this is going to change the outcome for his election. I mean, it's likely that he could win because we're going to have a pretty low turnout, most likely because these non-presidential, it's the whiter, wealthier, more conservative voters that cast their votes, right? It's just the truth. And it's a sad truth, and so a person like Ben Lindy is more likely to win. And plus the fact that Ozzy's not even on the ballot, which is really unfortunate. He's really going to have to work hard to get in. So, yes, Ben Lindy may very well win. What we want the community to understand and what we're saying is that this is not over. Like, if he gets in, we are going to be watching and participating in his service on the school board. We are going to be really concerned about any ideas he brings forth because we know where they're rooted. They are rooted in an agenda that he has been formed over the years from Michelle Rhee in Washington, D.C., about heightened teacher evaluations, high-stakes testing, privatization strategies. I mean, these folks have a whole roadmap. This is what they do. This is what they're good at. And guess what? We're also good at what we do, which is watching out for our kids in our schools against people who are trying to make a profit. I think I could just say nothing else except the fact that this dude went up to Columbus and got $4 million of our tax dollars diverted to his company. I mean, just that right there should send up real concern among all of us. If he truly cared about the kids, he'd be going up there and getting $4 million for Cincinnati School District to hire some nurses or some crossing guards, right?
Wow, that's interesting. So I'm looking at the letter right now, the open letter that you sent out, and you pretty much break it all down. I thought there was one thing here that you said that it reads that his campaign contributions is a roadmap of his agenda. What do you kind of talked about it, but what do you mean by that? Flesh that out.
So if you look at his campaign finance report, it's predominantly his peers that he probably knows from his Teach for America, network. I mean, this is a national network. They are all giving him donations from all over the country. So that's one. So he likes to minimize his connection to TFA, like, it's, I've recused myself or I'll recuse and it's not really. No, these folks are like a network and they share information, they share strategy, and they have been really sincerely a negative impact on public school districts across the country. So we raise that as a point. The other point we raise is the fact that we have a lot of KIPP. Okay, so KIPP, K-I-P-P, is the largest charter company in America. In fact, the Teach for America CEO at the national level is married to KIPP, is married to the person who runs KIPP. Houston, Texas now has more KIPP charter schools than they are not doing as well as their peer public schools. So we raise that because he's got donations from KIPP charter school folks from across the country. He's got donations from notable privatizers like charter, think tanks, the Farmer Foundation. So yes, it doesn't tell the whole tale of a candidate, of course, but it does tell you something that you should be paying attention to, right? people might criticize me and go, well, you ran for city council and I could pull up your campaign finance report and see some things. Yes, you could. You'll see on my campaign finance report that a lot of labor unions supported me. That's because years and they trust that they can use their members' money to fund my campaign.
Hey, Michelle,
you know?
as I said, I reached out to Mr. Ben Lindy. He's on the other line now. So we didn't talk about this beforehand, but would you be willing to speak with him live on the air?
Well, yes. I mean, I don't think it's fair to like do a whole debate here, but like, yes, we have an open letter. I'm sure he wants to respond, and totally, that's fine.
Okay, or we can do it again. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so to be fair to you, I'll ask you. I mean, I can hook you guys up. I can merge the call, or when you finish, I can bring him on.
Yeah, maybe you should bring him on after, because here's the thing: he can respond to all of this in any way that he wants, right? He can draft up his own letter, or he could come on our Facebook page and respond to each one of them. And I'm sure he has a response for all of it, which is great. That does not minimize the facts that we have presented, right?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you like to leave with the information? I'm going to make sure that everybody in here gets a chance to see, the letter you put out.
Yes. I would like to just touch on one last. Has focused on the state report card, right? And I would just say that the state report, it's unfortunate that he chose that, to really kind of denigrate the district. And I'll just leave your listeners with this fact. The takeover, which happened in Youngstown, which is trying to happen in districts across the state, is based on the fact that you have to prove a district has an F grade 3 years in a row. Once that happens, it triggers the fact that you can get rid of your democratically elected school board, which is what they did in Youngstown, and install a CEO to run your district. Okay? This is all very intentional, and people talk about being woke. This is something that you the more you learn and the more you read about this insidious agenda, the more woke you will be about this issue. And one fact, 79.8. If you on your daughter's report card, if you saw a 79.8, what grade do you think that would be?
I'm
Just
thinking
guess.
that's
like
C.
almost an 80.
I'm like a CB, something like that.
Okay. I think that's fair too, right? It's a 79.8. It's almost an 80, right? Which is kind of like B territory. Well, according to the state report card, a 79.8 for our graduation rate is an F. Okay? It's an F. So I'm just going to leave you with that thought, and I look forward to the debate or the engagement of Ben Lindy, and with that, I'm going to sign off.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. And then I believe we have Ben Lindy on the line, and I want to bring Ben in. Hey, Ben, are you there?
Hey, Nathan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ben Lindy. Were you able to hear any of that conversation with Michelle?
I heard, I think, the first part, and then I was working to make sure I got my phone to work. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, man. Well, she says that,
Good.
you're a part of an insidious agenda for CPS, and she's raising concerns. Yeah. Have you seen the open letter that was put out primarily about you?
I have.
Would you like to respond to it?
Sure. I mean, I think in general, I think this election should be about children. Our district has gotten a D for the last 2 years in a row, and I don't think we're making progress fast enough for kids. It's the reason I'm running. It's the reason I've spent the last 15 years working in public education, starting as a public school teacher. As a dad of 2 kids who are going to be in CPS, I care a lot about this city, and I think our school system has done some things well, but we got a lot more work to do. Unfortunately, I think too often in this race, we have gotten, just from our education leaders, distracted by politics of adults rather than the needs of children. I think that Michelle and I are going to disagree on a lot of these things. And my intention here, Nathan, is not to convince her to change her mind. She's a voter just like all your listeners, and people get to make up their own minds. The thing I wanted people to hear from me is I work for a nonprofit organization. I'm not in this to make a profit. I've been very thoughtful about what is and is not ethical and right under the law, and everything I'm doing is the right thing. I think it's important that we have people on the school board who believe we can do more and better for kids. I have a really hard time giving up on things, and I'm going to stay at this. And if I win, and who knows what's going to happen, but if I win, I'm excited to work with Michelle. I'm excited to work with anybody who wants to show up and fight for kids. And I just encourage, your readers that a lot of the things that she and her organization shared, they're just not true. And I know this from having worked with these people and worked on these issues. And, I think we should have a politics that doesn't involve attacking some candidate's wife, to be honest. I think that we can do better than that.
Do you feel like that was
I know my wife really well.
Hey, Ben, do you feel like that was an attack that Michelle launched against your wife when she brought up those associations?
I'll let other readers or listeners draw their own conclusions from it. I think that the way I'm trying to run my campaign is that we make this about children. And I'm not running against what Michelle believes in. Part of the reason I love this field race, and I've been watching your viewers' comments, like they like so many great candidates. I love our current board members. I'd welcome the chance to work with any of them. You can vote for multiple people in this race. The reason I hope that people make me one of those votes is I think we got to make faster progress. 2 Ds in a row is not good enough for anybody's kids. That's my perspective.
And you believe you can do that?
I agree with that. I think I can be part of a team that does that.
Right.
Like, I think we need a diverse group of people up there who believe in kids. And, the experiences I bring are a little bit different. None of the current board members have been a teacher in a low-income public school. That's something I bring that none of them have. I'm a lawyer. I think that brings some extra experience. I've also, one of the things that, folks came after me for in that letter had to do with where I've raised my money. And I'm really proud of the fact that I have friends all over the country who are fighting for children. And they work at organizations all over the country that are fighting for children. I'm happy to be able to be a perspective that has seen things outside of Cincinnati that might make a difference for kids. And I think, again, this is about a team. You have 7 board members, not just one. I think I can be one good part of that team. And, just as we get closer to Election Day, there's a lot of misinformation out there, including in that letter. Happy to answer questions about it.
Right.
But I just encourage readers to check the facts and
a couple things, man. Tell us where the misinformation is so people don't just run with it. But before you do that, it was said here just a couple of minutes ago that at the latest school board forum on Gabriel Place on Tuesday, that you said that you would step down from your current, you would not become the CEO of Teach for America in Cincinnati if you get on the school board. Is that true?
So that is true. And I'll tell you exactly why and what my thinking is. I've gone on leave while I'm running my campaign. When the campaign is over, I'm very excited to go back. I love and I'm deeply proud of the work that our core members and alumni are doing at Teach for America. CPS is one partner that we have, but we work with a lot of other school districts. We work with Covington, we work with Newport, we work with Dayton Public Schools. And I'm going to recuse myself from any votes or debates about Teach for America as is appropriate. But there's a lot of other work our organization is doing, even outside of CPS. And this is the right thing to do. It's the ethical thing to do. And, I wouldn't work there if I didn't believe in it.
Okay, so that means that if you get on the school board, you will not become the CEO of Teach for America. Is that correct?
Can you say the question one more time, Nathan?
So it was brought up this morning in the chat room, we call the Chop Shop, that when you were at Gabriel Place, there was a forum on Tuesday. You were there, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Right. It was said this morning, and I want to clarify, because when we talked about a week and a half ago, I asked you, would you remain the CEO of Teach for America in Cincinnati? And you said, yeah, I'm probably going to go back to it, but you stepped down during the campaign.
That's the same thing I said.
That's the same thing you said? Okay, because it was said here differently, as if you said on Tuesday that you were going to step away and not become the CEO of Teach for America if you get back on the school board.
No.
That's not what you said?
Yeah, just a couple. I think Nathan, you and I are saying exactly the same thing, but just to clarify a couple of points. And if I'm being duplicative here, let me know. I did step down while I'm campaigning, so I'm not at Teach for America now. I go back after the election's over.
Okay,
that part is true.
Okay,
it has been, is, and will be my intention to go back once the election is over, win or lose. And I wouldn't do that if I didn't believe it was the ethical, legal, and right thing to do.
Okay, wanted to clarify, and I think that somebody clarified it here as well too. I see Lawrence. Okay, great. So back to this open letter, what specifically is inaccurate here? I mean, essentially, this says that you are a billionaire-backed, corporate-backed. Perhaps you've got some agenda that is anti to what's going on in trajectory with public schools. That's what it paints you as. So you're saying this stuff is inaccurate. What in here is inaccurate?
All of those things are inaccurate. So I'm very proud that my campaign has been able to raise funding from both Democrats and from Republicans. This may win me some, votes with your listeners, Nathan, or it may lose me some, but I'm going to be really clear about what I believe. I think education is one of those rare issues that should be purple, where we can bring the blue and the red, the Democrats and the Republicans together to do things that work for children. That sometimes makes me not the most popular person in the Democratic Party. It sometimes makes me a very unpopular person with Republicans. But I think it's the right thing to do. And it's what I've learned from 15 years of working in this field. And so if you look at the fundraising that I've done, it's been a lot of hard work. I've been working really hard on it for quite a while. It draws from people who believe in children, both Democrats and Republicans. And if you need some examples, like the single largest contributor that I've had has been Dick and Kitty Rosenthal. And listeners might know those names because they're among some of the biggest Democratic fundraisers in Cincinnati. Like when Hillary Clinton came to Cincinnati, the fundraiser she held was in Dick's daughter's house. And Jenny is also a donor of mine. So to say that it is just an exclusively Republican private-backed group is not right. But I also want to be clear, I believe in building broad and diverse coalitions of people who want to fight for kids. And I think that's what's going to help, part of what's going to help make a faster progress for children. So that's the first part of what you said, Nathan. There was a second thing you said about an agenda to privatize education. That's where I was going to go next. Did you want to get a question in, or am I talking too much?
Yeah, no, you're not talking too much. I mean, again, I want to make sure that you can set the record straight and make sure you get enough time to talk to the audience and let them know, your side of things.
Yeah, and ultimately, just to be clear, too, this is an election. People should make up their own minds. People may decide in hearing what I have to say that I'm not the school board candidate you want. That's why we live in a democracy. I think the thing that's important to me is that we have a real debate on real facts for what's going to make faster progress for children. And I'm happy to help contribute to that. And so on the agenda point, I honestly sometimes have trouble understanding where this comes from or even what it would mean. When I hear privatize public education, what I hear is let's get rid of public schools and replace them with vouchers and charter schools. I don't believe in that. I graduated from a public school. I'm a CPS alum. I'm sending 2 kids that when they're old enough to go to CPS schools. I'm running for a Cincinnati Public School Board position. I have no secret agenda to replace schools with charter schools or vouchers. I believe deeply that the most important issue in America is getting our public education system right. And so, ultimately people have to decide whether or not they believe me. But I think if you look at the way I've spent the last 15 years of my life and the relationships I've built and what I've chosen to do, I really believe these things. And I believe them enough, Nathan, that win or lose, I'm going to stay at trying to make public schools great places for kids in Cincinnati for the rest of my life.
Well, Ben Lindy, thank you for your time. Anything else? Anything you want to set the record straight about? Last words for the audience?
No, just I would encourage people, if my website is benlindy.com. If you want to talk more about this or you want to come to an event, my social media is Ben Lindy for Cincinnati School Board. That's Facebook. And you come find us, come talk to us. We've got 5 days left in this election. I want to work hard for every single vote. I've got nothing to hide. I'm deeply proud of the work and the people I've known. And just, to Michelle, if you're listening, or to other folks who are on the other side of some of these issues, I'm excited to team up with anybody who wants to show up and fight for kids. And I'm excited about what we can do together.
All right, Ben, thanks for your time. Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan, for the chance.
Yeah, most def. So a little bit of a school board conversation this morning. We heard from Michelle Dillingham. I was willing to hook up the debate. And then we heard from Ben Lindy. What do you think? I'll tell you what I think after a couple of minutes here. Got to take a break. We'll be right back. Nathan Ivey Show. Live, local, vocal. Don't go anywhere.
Here urging you to write in Ozzie Davis when you vote November 5th and vote for Eve Bolton and Carolyn Jones. And also on your ballot, vote Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board. They've been working hard together on our school board to improve our schools. Our kids deserve their consistent, strong leadership. Remember to vote November 5th. Write in Ozzie Davis and vote for Eve Bolton, Carolyn Jones, and vote for Pam Bowers for Cincinnati School Board.
This is Pamela Bowers, and I approve this message. Paid for by Bowers for the Board.
This is retired Judge Fanon Rucker. I served District 1 for 12 years, retiring from the bench this September. And when it comes to replacing me on the court, to me, there's one clear choice: Janaea Trotter Bratton. Janaea was born and raised in Cincinnati, started her legal career in the municipal court, and has worked for years as a civil rights lawyer. She's a leader in our community, recognized by the NAACP and by the YWCA as a rising star. As a judge, I know Janaea will make our justice system work for everyone, and she will do it with compassion and fairness. So whether you live in Avondale or Evanston, Walnut Hills, the West End, or Mount Auburn, the people of District 1 need Janaea Trotter Bratton on the bench. She is the only Democrat in this race, and she has my full support. So on November 5th, vote Janaea Trotter Bratton for judge.
Thank you, Judge Rucker. It is an honor to have your endorsement. I ask you to elect me, Janaea Trotter Bratton, as the first Black woman to be elected to this judicial seat.
Paid for by the committee to elect Janaea Trotter Bratton judge.
Hello, this is Ron Dumas. Now is the time to vote for the only candidate that's never prosecuted hundreds of our people, who has never testified in a judge's trial, and sadly, that judge was found guilty of that very offense.
Our people died for your right to vote. Please do not let anyone or anything take away your freedom of choice. There is freedom and power in your vote. I still remember the image of Miss Jane Pittman. Please don't let anyone assume that they have your vote just because they hand you a paper or a ticket. We are smart people.
Now is the time to vote for Judge Elisa Murphy, who is fair, just, and the most experienced, who has been on the bench a total of 16 and a half years, who has fought on the front lines with Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, who has over 25 years of experience as a defense attorney, who is from Evanston, and her family owned the old Southern restaurant in the West End.
I am honored to follow Judge Leslie Isaiah Gaines, Judge John Burlew, and Judge John Skip West, who all came from this balanced, nonpartisan district. Please vote for your homegrown judge, Judge Elisa Murphy.
Paid for by Murphy for Judge.
This is Bishop Bobby Hilton. I support Janaea Trotter Bratton for District 1 Judge. We must hold candidates to the highest moral standards. Janaea shows integrity and is a Democrat that works hard for all those in our community. Janaea did not and would not sell out her values just to get a seat. Her opponent cut a deal with Republicans to become a magistrate and has continued to be Republican even under the Trump administration, something she fails to mention. But Janaea's opponent never forgets to mention her ties to a soul food restaurant ran decades ago, as if fried chicken will fool us into thinking she will fight for a fair judicial system. It's the same Republican playbook, assuming blacks are dumb enough to ignore facts and be swayed by down-home talk. Let's tell Miss Soul Food there's not enough fish plates in the world to make up for a lack of integrity and experience. Don't be fooled. A vote for the Republican is a vote for Trump's racist agenda. A vote for Janaea is a vote for justice.
Paid for by the Hamilton County Democratic Party.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey in the air chair, and I appreciate you being here. What did you think about the conversation? What did you think about the conversation with Michelle Dillingham? And then we got a chance to talk with Ben Lindy. What do you think? Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, thanks for letting me double dip, but I'm going to be very brief about this, okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Admittedly, and on the record of this show, I am not a fan at all of Michelle Dillingham. And it's mainly due to her personal issues. But she's spot on about Ben Lindy. I said that when he called. That guy is dangerous. Do not vote for him. That Teach for America stuff, he's not willing to distance himself from it, saying that he's not going to step down. He's just going to recuse himself from votes. Like she was saying, it's all even if he did step down, it's all a shell game. All that, I specifically said some of that exact same stuff that she was telling you all about. Now, I know she's had personal issues. That's what makes her hard for me to accept as a viable political entity in this town. But a broken clock can be right twice a day. And she's right about this cat. If y'all even considering voting for him, you're a part of the problem. The machine, you're selling out our kids. This guy's not about our children. You can hear it in his rhetoric. And if you look up Teach for America and know what they're about, you can look on their website. It'll tell you what they want you to think they're about. But if you look at the bigger picture, like I say, blow up the negatives so you can see the bigger picture like a camera, you'll know this cat is not a viable candidate. He's as bad as any candidate. He's as dangerous as any other white man on running for school board. Meggerly, any of them. He's the same guy. When he called in, you heard what he said. I'd like this election to remain about children. What? The election, the whole thing, it's about the school board, but what she just told us, what you're basically saying is, no, let's keep the rhetoric on the children. Don't worry about my personal business. No, that's part of it, B. Your personal issues. The same reason why I refuse to rock with her. So I'm not apologizing to Ms. Dillingham for anything I might have said, and I'm giving her kudos.
You should.
No, I didn't. No, I shouldn't, because when I think of her personal issues, I think of broken glass, kids running down the street, women in project hallways doing unsavory stuff to get high. And she was a part of that trade. But, like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. She's spot on about this cat. And if you go back and listen to the show he was on, as soon as he got off, I called and said the exact same stuff that she just called in and told you and apparently said in her open letter. So, shout out to her, but it is what it is. Do not vote for Lindy. He's a part of the machine. Holla.
That's fame double dipping. But since it was after our guest, I did allow it. That's how he feels. How do you feel? 513-873-7134. Got to make a move later on today, 1 p.m. Not sure what you're doing during the midday, but check out the live stream from the Truth to Power podcast from your Cincinnati NAACP. They'll be live in that 1 p.m. hour talking about what's on their radar screen and what's going on in the community. So if you got some time today, make sure you check out that live stream. It'll be over on Sin Digital Media, and we'll get it up on their page and on my page as well. And if you're looking in the plug-in, see what's going on and support, check them out today at 1 p.m. That's the Truth to Power podcast. So, man, what's my take on Lindy? Well, I already told you my take on Lindy. It hasn't really changed. I still ask the same questions. And after speaking with them, again, not to break anybody down too much, because I don't want to come across like I'm favoritism or something like that. But if we're talking about these candidates and being frank about it, I would say that I still got question marks. After my interview with Lindy, I was left thinking, okay, great, he's got these great experiences, but how connected is he really to the real issues that happen here in the city of Cincinnati? How connected is he really? I mean, not to hold it against you, but it is what it is. Grew up in Hyde Park. Now you're back living in Hyde Park. How connected are you to the real issues that's happening with our children here in the city of Cincinnati? Or is this really about furthering whatever Teach for America agendas is? Like, you can say whatever the hell you want to. Ben can say whatever he wants to. If I'm the CEO of a vendor for CPS and I'm on a school board, I'm at an advantage. And there's no other way of looking at it. He can say whatever he wants to say. And if he tries to say that, he thinks people are dumb. We're not dumb. If I was on the school, if I had a business relationship with the CPS, and then I became a school board member, nobody can tell me that don't give me advantages. Just the sure position of it to whatever my agenda might be. I don't know if he has an agenda. I think they all have agendas. To what Fame said when he said that Ben Lindy was like, let's keep it about the children. Well, this is all about the children. All this stuff about, the campaign finance and where it's coming from. This is all about children. We might not be talking about, the classroom stuff or the policy stuff, but all this conversation is all about the children. All these forums, it's all about the children. Every last question is about the children. That's a given. Even the questions that aren't directly related to CPS policy, if you are running, it's the same thing if you're running for any public office. You're going to get scrutinized. So we shall see. I would say that Ben Lindy is very intelligent. I would say that he knows how to speak with people. I would say that, he obviously knows how to campaign finance. I would say that, what did she say? He went to the State House and got $4 million. How do you do that? He must be a very resourceful and capable guy. We need resourceful and capable guys on school board, don't we? Right? We do. But it depends on what the agenda is. Ben Lindy, and I've heard school board members say this over and over again, and I'm like, well, why should I vote for you? If you come to me and tell me, oh, I love all the school board members, they're doing a great job of putting me on there, why should I do that? They're already there. Some of them just got there. They already, learned and spent months learning this game. Why should we upset the apple cart and you say they're all good people? It just confounds me, again, it's not that you want to say anything negative, but if I'm running for school board, I'm running against you because I don't think that you're doing the same job I'm going to do when I get in there, period. That's why I'm doing it, but everybody wants to be cool and be friends. So we'll see. We'll see. I just confirmed with Eve Bolton for tomorrow morning. So we'll talk with Eve Bolton tomorrow morning and Carolyn Jones perhaps tomorrow or Monday as well. Still chasing. These brothers are scared to come on. Where is Gary Favors? Where is, to be fair to Gary Favors, I haven't reached out to him recently. But where is Brother John Coleman? Why is he not responding to any of my attempts to get in contact with him? He's running against Tyrone Yates. People want to know why we should vote you over Tyrone Yates. It's real simple. It's real simple questions here. Man, so, again, I don't want to go too hard talking about any one person. It is what it is. This letter came out, and I thought, okay, great. We've been talking about this. Let's talk about it. So I invited Michelle to come on. And as I said, I try to keep it 100 with you. I'll tell you, I'm going to get your opponent and let them know you're on the air so they can comment too. It is what it is. This is media. It's what we do. Just offer the opportunity. I think that's fair. I think that Ben, wanted to spin it. Anytime you're a candidate, you want to kind of spin it in your favor. And I hear it. I mean, I've heard enough of this. I really have. Have you? What do you think? What do you think? Let me see here. I'm reading through your chat here. See. Mike Davis writes, be your child's best teacher. Absolutely. T&T's in the house. She writes, OZ Davis. I don't know. We shall see. I mean, again, the whole thing with OZ, that opens the door. It opens the door for Ben Lindy. It opens the door for Marlena Brookfield. It opens the door for Heather Couch. It opens the door. And like I told you, I mean, Ben Lindy's got $170,000 for school board. Some of these other candidates is, bringing in 10, 7, 8, 20, 22, $167,000. Like I live in the Cincinnati area. I've received 3 mailers already, as I said earlier. So there's a very serious intent. Now, is that something you can hold against somebody? Well, it depends on how you look at it. On one hand, you say no, because if you're running for anything, whether you're running for, a position that pays nothing, that position pays $5,000 a year. But so you're going to expend $170,000 to get a position that only nets you in terms of that $5,000. So it's been said, it ain't about the money. So why is he doing it? Well, what he says is it's about the children. That's what he says. And we are going to have to determine whether we believe that or not. And that's what it comes down to. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Again, if you go back and look at how, I meant to ask Michelle this, because she ran for city council. If you can put together $167,000 running for Cincinnati City Council, a lot of people are going to look at you and say, you did a good job. They're going to say, good job. Let's say it's your first time running for city council. You come in with $167,000. People are going to say, good job. Well, good job. And that's the threshold, minimum, they say these days, if you're running for city council. School board? I mean, somebody wants to make sure that they definitely, she said they're going to be TV ads. Is he going to be the only candidate with TV ads? Again, that opens the door. That opens the door. So we shall see. I see Lawrence writes, right in Ozzie Davis. I don't think people should take that lightly. I don't think we should take that lightly at all. I don't think that at all. We shall see. Like I said, everybody, even Ben Lindy said, hey, these are all great people on the school board. Then he says, well, I just think that our progress can be faster. Well, I think every member of that school board wants the progress to be faster. They all want I don't think anybody on the school board right now, and I'm not saying of all the people, I know Ozzie the best. Ozzie and I are cool. Am I like at his house? No. But are we cool? Respect? Yeah. But I think all those people want the achievement to happen faster if I had to go out on a limb. Somebody writes that he and Gary Favors have TV ads. Oh, is that right? Okay. Isn't that interesting? Is that interesting? What's up with Gary Favors? We haven't said his name too much. Matter of fact, let me send a message right now and see what we can do. Again. Let's see. Let me see here. Okay, let me send a message right now to Gary Favors people and then to him directly. Hold on, give me a second. I'm doing it right here in the air so I don't forget this. Favors. I want to do it nice and early. Because, you know, if you remember about Gary's Favors, and we didn't talk about this too much, but Ozzie, he ain't saying good things about the brother. Which I always thought was interesting. You missed that interview? Yeah, he said it. I mean, Ozzie went down the line and gave us his opinion for whatever that's worth. You have to make your decision about that. And he talked to Gary. He got the Gary Favor. He was like, nah. He said something about brother not being a brother, something like that, not being for us. I don't remember the exact quote, but in terms of the overall feel, that's what he was trying to convey. Why? Does anybody know Mr. Gary Favors? Do you know him? I do not know Mr. Gary Favors. Hold on. Let me finish this. Let's finish this real quick. Sorry about this. I know I'm just taking up all your little time. Sorry about that. There it is. Okay, so I'll let you know what happens as it's 10:20 and I got to make a move. Got to be somewhere later on today. Let me read the last, not the last, but your comments here. People who eat freedom fries and get ketchup on their Klan hoods votes Republican. Drop writes, if Ozzie had the speaking ability of Lindy, he would have the signatures needed. You're wrong for that. And what does speaking ability have to do with getting signatures? I don't understand that one. Let me see here. Yep, Nate, dude is part of the machine. If y'all would rather have Ben instead of Marlena, kill yourself. Marlena is at least organic. Better choice between Ben and Marlena, who would I choose? Pitting white folks against one another. Purple hair or possible insidious agenda. What do we do? I don't know. I might go with purple hair on that one. Those are my two choices. Did you see the article in Cincinnati Enquirer today about Lindy? He's spec. What? Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Somebody did send this to me. Hold on, let me check this right here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, I can't wait to read this article. What the hell? Cincinnati school board candidates accused of mishandling complaints about charter school. A former Teach for America teacher is accusing one of the candidates in a crowded Cincinnati school board race of mishandling claims of illegal and unethical behavior at a charter school in Avondale. Ben Lindy, he didn't mention any of this. Executive director for Teach for America is one of 6 candidates. Savannah Kurtz, a Teach for America member in the 2016-2017 school year, says Lindy ignored serious allegations about the school she was placed in, and she does not want to see him even more control of teachers and students if he's elected to the CPS board. Quote, I do not want him to be in charge of kids any longer. Damn. I mean, I almost got to call Ben back. His response can't be, let's keep it about the kids, because this is about the kids. This woman says, I do not want him to be in charge of kids any longer, and especially not in a public school district when he supported charter schools that have really hindered the educational progress in Cincinnati. Word? Is that right? What the hell? Oh, whoa. What is going on? She said, what now? Now, Ben didn't mention any of this. Ben didn't mention this. Ben, I know you're listening. You might be. Why didn't you mention this, B? You knew this was going to come out. So this woman says that he doesn't want him. This is interesting. Says Lindy ignored serious allegations about the school she was placed in, and she does not want to see him with even more control of teachers and students if he's elected to the CPS board. From what I'm reading, he declined to answer the inquirer's specific questions about Kurt's allegations. See, this is something, that's a very serious article right there in the sense that this is coming from within Teach for America. So this ain't Michelle Dillingham. This ain't somebody else who may have an agenda or an objective or viewpoint that's contrary to what they perceive to be, or it is Ben Lindy's. This is somebody who was actually working with Teach for America. It's interesting. Very interesting. Michelle's in here. She writes, this was in our open letter. It included claims of corporal punishment. Is that right? So, what does this mean exactly? I think we know what it means. We shall see. I love local politics. Follow the money. If the same money behind the incumbent is behind the candidates, nothing will change. Well, from what I see, there's some different sources coming in. Quite interesting. So, the first thing I think is, how credible is this woman? Was she put up to do this? How credible is she? Why is this just coming out now? And then two, if it is credible, let me see. There's just so many damn hidden agendas out there. I mean, it's really hard to know where people are coming from. It really is. Unless you listen to the Nathan Ivey Show, it is very, very clear. See here, Kurtz's initial complaint stems from the 2016-2017 school year. She had joined Teach for America in hopes of eventually landing a job in Cincinnati Public Schools, she said. For her first assignment, though, she was placed at Phoenix Community Learning Center, a charter school where she taught 9th grade English and French. She wrote about a pattern of unethical and illegal behavior at Phoenix. Kurtz told Lindy about unlicensed staff, students with disabilities, not getting the special education plans and services required by law, students being suspended without due process, and perhaps most egregiously, multiple administrators at Phoenix resorting to physical punishment. Now, was this all under Ben Lindy's watch? Did she, in fact, really tell Ben Lindy this? What did he do about it? He seems like a reasonable fella. We just talked to him. He was so reasonable. I'm sure he's got some reasonable answers for all of these very difficult questions. Got no doubt about it. As a single teacher within a school where administrators hold all power and where teachers have no voice, there is not much I can do to disrupt the serious civil rights abuses being committed. Yeah. Eileen Cooper Reed, former Cincinnati Public School Board President and former advisory committee member for Teach for America, said that while she can't speak on Kirsch's accusation specifically, having worked with Lindy, she knows his character. And she says that Eileen Cooper Reed says that he's a good guy. Okay. Look, y'all, we got some serious decisions to make. Real serious. We're going to have to break this all down and figure it all out. And I think that we really have, actually. Like, some people have already voted. And if you already voted, then it is what it is. Listen, hold on. I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Choppers. Hey, listen, let's let this marinate, shall we? We'll come back and pick it up tomorrow morning. My guest will be Eve Bolton and perhaps others, all right? If anybody sees John Coleman, please tell him Nathan Ivey would love to get him on the air so we can chop it up before the election. I want you folks to have a great day. I'll pick up with you tomorrow morning bright and early, all right? Remember our motto, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon.